Hey, welcome back to Chasing Rings. What's up tonight, fellas?
Gentlemen. Hey.
All right, we are going to hop right in and set it off with.
Wait, what?
And I'm going to start us off tonight. Did you know that 21 of the 32 NFL teams this year have a new offensive coordinator?
Wait, what?
21.
That's
65% of the league.
What kind of business is that?
Hey, man, people making
Does that
change.
mean they
People
all
want to win now. People want to win now.
Yeah.
Of those
Yeah.
21, 17 will have new primary play callers. So you're going to have 17 teams with different play callers. It'll be interesting to see what those offenses look like. 4 teams, the head coach is going to call the plays. It's Buffalo, Jim Brady. Keep calling him Jim Brady. Joe Brady, Kansas
I
City,
know what
Andy
you mean.
Reid, of course, Ben Johnson in Chicago. And why am I losing my fourth person?
The Steelers guy.
McVay in
No.
LA. Offense is not the only side of the ball. Defense as well. 14 new defensive coordinators. So a big year of change in the NFL. G, what do you have for us tonight?
So, did you know the AFC South is the only division where every single team has hosted a Super Bowl in its home stadium? Yet 2 of the current teams,
Wait, what?
Jacksonville and Houston, have never actually played in a Super Bowl.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, feel
So
bad for
they all
Jacksonville and
hosted-
Houston.
They've all hosted, but those 2 have never played.
Houston's been so close so many times, at least the old franchise anyways. But we won't
Yeah,
go
they're
there.
not going to ever win until the Texans become the Oilers again.
What do you have for us tonight, big dude?
In 2011, the Indianapolis Colts had a horrific season. They went 2-14. They drafted Andrew Luck after that. But did you know, the very next season, the Indianapolis Colts went 11-5 and made the playoffs the very next year.
Wait, what?
Dang.
Nice.
Never heard of a
Heck of
turnaround
a
like that.
turnaround. Heck of a turnaround,
that
man.
is uncommon.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gotta
not
give
in
it to 'em.
football. You see it in some of the other sports, but definitely not in football. It doesn't happen that
Mhm.
fast. Ask a lot of
No.
the teams that have mired at the bottom of the league forever.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for our Wait, What?
Wait, what?
Let's hop into some news, a couple of tidbits. Of course, the AP poll was released today. I'm sure G's feet didn't touch the ground. The guys are ranked number 1, of course. But I'm hearing a little bit of buzz, not to spend too much time going back on the college game here, but I'm hearing a little buzz coming out of Athens, Georgia, and State College, Pennsylvania. And we kind of talked about Penn State, 1 or 2 games going one way or another could make a difference here, but they're trending upwards crazy right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now I can't wait till they get going, man. I cannot wait.
So what
But
are they seeing something in training camp?
Well, they're
is the
saying
meetings
that
allowed in the training camp in college?
they're saying, well, people got snitches, man, and they talk to the media. But what I'm hearing up at State College is that favorable schedule, first of all, which we said, and, this isn't a total rebuild. I think that people are thinking of, in the past, the last couple of times Penn State has changed coaches, has been almost like a rebuild. And this isn't a rebuild. This is just a transition compared to those times. So they brought in a lot of good players. They kept some of their players. So I think that they're going to be a little more competitive. But we all kind of agreed that, it could go 10-2, it could go 9-3.
Yeah.
10-2 puts you in the playoffs.
Right.
So, you're talking one game here or there. And I know Big Dude touched on those big games, like the Washington game. It's a big one. You just never know what game's going to change the tide. But in Athens, we were getting on them for being young. They're talking about this defense might be of the caliber of the championship defense. When you have defense like that, you just need not turn the ball over and you'll be okay.
I did pick up a win the
Ugly
SEC.
Texans going to play ugly ball this season.
Possibly, but what Big Dude just said, I thought about that when I was hearing it, that he had them in the playoffs winning the SEC. He always knows something that we don't know. You know how that goes. Look at when we
Yep.
did the
Well,
draft stuff last year. You should be the guru. That's your name should be
no,
Guru.
Right.
no.
So we'll keep our eyes on that. And the other tidbit that I'll cover, there is some dissension in the Buss family. The Lakers are the only organization I know that trying to sell a team can't just sell it. The transaction just can't be over. So apparently, Jeannie Buss is saying, wait a minute, slow down, Roy Rogers. I didn't vote on this, but, it's 5-1. So they win. They insisted they're going ahead with the sales, and she's trying to get some legal action to stop it, because basically the point of contention is the Busses have always had stake in the company. Even when they sold it to the gentleman earlier, they still had 17.8% shares in the company. You have to have at least 15 to sit as what they call the governor on a team, which is what Jeannie Buss does. But the siblings have voted to give up that 17.8, which is the rest of it. And the Busses will, for the first time in the history of that franchise since Mr. Buss bought them, they won't have any association with the Lakers. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. I think Jeannie's going to lose this one, unfortunately for her. As a Laker fan, I just want it to be over. I don't really care either way at this point. I think when Mr. Buss died, the franchise kind of died. So
I would agree with you. I would agree.
So,
I don't know what it was about him, but now that he's gone, it seems like he was some form of glue that kept the LA in the mix. I never really looked into this. So each one of the siblings have 17%, or collectively they have 17%?
They had collectively 17.8%, and they only needed to keep 15% to have a role with the organization according to league guidelines. And they voted, hey, let's give it all up for that cash and be done with this. And Jeannie's like, no, I don't want to be done with it.
I wonder why they want to give it up. Not everybody's cut out for that.
No.
Yeah. No. And you don't know what the difference in philosophy is, too. I mean, from everything I know about her, she was probably more committed to keeping everything that Dr. Buss built alive, and maybe that's where she is now. And I get it. I could see the sentimentality in not wanting to let that last piece of him go, but I'm sorry, man. At these prices, go on and have it, and I'll do something else. You've done everything you can do. You've won. You're still one of the most highly valued sports franchises in the world. I mean, you're not going to win again anytime soon, so let it go.
Time for somebody else.
Yeah.
Get that. I'm with her. I'm keeping it if I can.
My 2 cents anyways. Well, I wouldn't have, if I could help it, let it get to this point personally. I agree with you, G. I would want to stay involved as well. But it's 5-1. I'm not going through all this at this point. I'm outvoted. Like I said, she might have some purpose in fighting this that we're obviously not aware of. God bless her. Yeah. But just on the surface, it's not worth the battle at this point.
Why didn't she just buy them out?
She probably don't have $10 billion, $12 billion sitting around. She can have a name.
She probably does. She probably does.
Together, to get an ownership group together to maybe raise the stakes.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if they're like, no. Because you're right. Why not buy them out? I'm almost wondering if they're like, we're not selling it to you. We want to be done. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, if I were her, I'd be calling all kinds of, people worth hundreds of millions and billions and putting my group together. But then part of me is like, how did you even get that far?
I'm sure that she must be connected enough to get people together to counter that offer, you would think.
You would think.
So that's really not a bad idea. So this might be more interesting than I first thought when I saw the story. This could get real interesting.
Yeah. How much do you think that they knew? I mean, how could she not have known that this sale was
She,
there?
she said they voted without her there, man. I mean, I can see that.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Grimy
okay.
business, man. You
Okay.
know how
So
that
her,
is. Oh,
her
we got them. We
siblings
got.
and the other people voted without her there.
Yep. All
There is
five of
such a
them are
thing
like,
as
yep,
spite. That's for sure.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And
And
well,
it's
maybe
always
that's
been
what she's
her
gonna
versus
try to
them.
maybe that's what she's gonna try to say is that she was there, and then maybe there's somewhere in that agreement that when this situation arises, everybody has to have a voice. And if they went this far without her voice, she may be able to nix it.
Yeah, I think that's her. That's her legal argument exactly. Is that she
Oh, okay.
never was a part of no discussion
And if she's
to
supposed to
sell.
be, then yeah,
Yep.
she can block it.
Yep.
Please
Yeah.
block it and go get you a team because it would be real foul if the buses weren't involved.
It would be
I think so.
sad. It'd be kind of cool if she finds a way to do it. But I'm good
Mhm.
either way. I just want whatever way it's gonna go. I just want it to kind of be done. To me, it's too
Yeah.
much. It's too much. Football season. Get your business done and get out the way. All right. Well, that'll do it for Around the Ring in News. Tonight, we are going to continue our Division Chase series with analysis of the AFC South and the AFC West. And we're going to start with the South and the Houston Texans. And when I think of the Houston Texans, the only image that honestly comes to my mind is the piss poor performance that CJ Stroud had in the playoffs last year, because I truly believe that that's the one thing that stopped. I don't know if they would have beat Seattle, but that would have been a hell of a Super Bowl with those two defenses. I think that they would have won the AFC if CJ Stroud did anything. Gee, what are
Well,
your
I
thoughts on
think
the Texans going into the 2026 season?
well, I think that the organization understands what you're saying, which is why they went so heavy on the O line and shoring up their running back position. Is that they know they got to keep they got to keep Stroud upright in a pocket so that he can actually make some good decisions. Because you know that when the offensive line was showing their sparks of doing a really good job, I mean, he could throw very well, pretty accurate. He can throw downfield. He just can't be running all the time and being on his butt all the time. So they addressed that. So we'll see how that's gonna work out. Their defense, they did just a good job of keeping that group together. You know, they have some pieces, but for the most part, that really strong defense is still there.
Yeah, they didn't really lose a beat. They shored up their offensive line, which is obviously important. That we'll know for sure. If their offensive line can hold up, we'll know for sure if it's CJ Stroud or if it was the protection. I mean, I think the
True that.
transactions that they made, we're gonna find out what Stroud is made of. They extended the right people on defense. You're right. G kept their defense up to par. And Tank Dell's going to be coming back. Remember the horrific knee injury that he suffered last year? He looks great in camp, and he looks like he's ready to go. So
Well, that would
there's
be a
not a
plus.
whole lot I have for Houston. I mean, I hate to say it, for a team that they didn't even win the division, but it's almost like the rich getting richer again. Even though they didn't win the division, they didn't advance far in the playoffs, you feel like they're right on the edge of it. So
Exactly.
I'm really excited. Like I told you before, I'm excited for that week 1 matchup because I respect Houston as a very good team, and I think it'll be a good gauge to see where my boys are that early in the
Definitely.
season. So what about your thoughts, big dude, on the Texans?
Well, I mean, I'm where you all are. It's time for them to do something. D'Amico Ryans is a dynamite coach, and it'll be interesting just to see how much he is letting the players really dictate the culture of what's going on. Because what I like about him, he's very strong in it and very strong-armed and pushing people forward. The question with this is, especially with the offense, is how much is he going to empower C.J. Stroud as a leader? I think the key is with the new offensive line is to be able to run the ball and control the football this year. Because if they can control the football, it'll make it easier for everybody, easier for the defense. So I think that they're looking at another good season. For some reason, in some of the things that I studied and saw, that a lot of the prognosticators and a number of other outlets say that their schedule is not the toughest one, but it seems like it's by percentage points, especially when a lot of them, have to go to England. I would almost call this division, they used to call, I forgot the NFC Central, and it used to be the black and blue division. To me, this would be the hot and bumpy division. Hot and bumpy, that's about it, because there's nothing pretty about the AFC South. Everybody is going for it. I think I'm all on the same page as all of you.
Yeah, and don't forget that they added David Montgomery as part of that running game. I'm assuming he'll be the featured back along with Woody Marks, who had a damn good year, came on strong at the end as a rookie. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do and how much that changes the complexion of their offense and how much that helps CJ Stroud. So great points on both of you guys. Let's move down to Florida. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the defending AFC South champions, believe it or not, had a nice turnaround themselves under Liam Cohen, did some really good things last year. Some people say they kind of nutted up in the playoffs, but, my boys are a little playoff tested. That wasn't going to be a gimme. We came in there and did what we had to do, but Jacksonville is still right there, a young team, young coach. I think there's a lot to be excited about there. Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence finally looked like he has a coach that is calling plays to his strengths and not putting him out there to cut down on those mistakes. Now, a big loss for them was, is it Travis Etienne?
Trevor.
Remember if his first name was Travis Etienne, their running back.
That's right.
That was a huge loss for them. I hated that they lost him and they replaced him with Chris Rodriguez, who was in Washington. I like Chris Rodriguez, but it's a little bit of a fall off there, if you ask me, in quality. But I expect them to be right there. I think they still have a very high ceiling as a young team. It'll be interesting to see, can they repeat what they did last year? Don't forget, they had the top-ranked run defense in the league, but really the pass is what beat them in the playoff game against my boys, not being able to stop the pass. Do you think that the Jags will prove to everyone that last year's division championship wasn't a fluke and that they can remain at the top of this division?
Well, they have retained their entire coaching staff, which is a good thing. I don't think I ever known too many people that have retained their own coaching staff, so that's very good. I mean, because they were able to win 13 games last year, and through their losses and then through their other things, I think that they have learned a lot. But their second team all-pro linebacker, Devin Lloyd, I think on defense, we'll see just how much of a leader he can be to lead that defense and how they play against the pass, And a lot of it is, and I know, you talked about it last time, depending upon what it is they're running. You got to be able to get to the quarterback. And it doesn't really matter which coverage you run. So I'm feeling pretty good about Jacksonville this year. Barring any other injuries, I think Jacksonville should be making a good run at it again.
The only thing I'll add is that, Rodriguez, I think he's a serviceable back. It's better to have him than have some of the other backs that are out there. But he's not Etienne. At least he has not shown that type of work. And so until we see how he particularly shows up in Jacksonville as a running back, because sometimes the change of scenery can actually help a player sometimes. But assuming that he continues the way he played in Washington and the way Houston's defense is, they're going to force Trevor Lawrence to constantly throw. And Houston's secondary is not horrible at all. So this is why I think Jacksonville, they're definitely in it, I think, with Houston. I just think that Houston had the better offseason, and they kept more of their quality intact. So I just think that they're in a better place than Jacksonville. But I do think Jacksonville is definitely going to be in the hunt. And if Rodriguez actually proves to play better there than he did in Washington, then I'll probably change my view on it.
That's a great comparison, G, that Houston did a little bit more to probably surpass them. I was going to say level that playing field, but probably in some ways surpass them, at least on paper. So it will be interesting, but they both should definitely be right there. That's really a great point of emphasis there. Before we head to Indianapolis, I also want to talk about, they had a couple of receivers that are really shining in camp. Josh Cameron from Baylor and CJ Williams, who went to USC, Wisconsin, and Stanford. And it's funny when I'm looking at some of these rookies preparing, like, oh, he's from, and I'm thinking these guys went to 2 and 3 schools. I'm not doing all that for all these rookies. But those two receivers have been showing out in camp thus far. So that'll be interesting because they had a high-ranked passing offense last year. And if they can add to that, I'm almost wondering if they become a pass-first team given the loss at the running back position, and maybe that helps set up the running game, which I hate to say out loud as a traditionalist especially. But and one of the problems with that in division is Houston has got that monster pass rush and hella DBs. Do you want to be relying on pass and playing Houston? That's not going to win the division. But
that's what I'm thinking.
I did want to mention the rookies. I did want to mention the 2 rookies that are doing a nice job in camp. So that'll be a good battle, I think, all the way to the end. I mean, it was last year. And we forget, too, Houston got off to that 0-3 start.
They did.
And that killed them. That absolutely killed them. They went 12-2 the rest of the way, y'all. That's sick. That is absolutely sick.
That's quite a turnaround.
And I don't know if you remember the last game of the season, the Jags were on the ropes at Indy against Phillip Rivers, and they somehow got out of it. Houston would have won the division.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
So you got to get out of the gates. You got to get out of the gates early, man. You got to get out of the gates. So we'll see how Houston starts this year. Hopefully they don't start 1-0, but hopefully they don't start 0-3 either.
Well, and let me just say one more. Let me just say one more thing too. It's going to be interesting to see who their number one wideout is going to be. I know last year at the end of the year, Parker Washington, that was at Penn State and stayed there. He's, I think, a one-school guy. I think ended up being their number one wideout. And of course, you got Jacoby Myers. So, and Brenton Strange, the large tight end, 6'7", 270, athletic, can play in the slot. And Travis Hunter, do they even bother playing him both ways this year? That's the name.
I read that's going to be rare.
Well, he said that he wants to be the best at both positions. So
he's still saying
the conversation needs to be had.
Yeah, when I was reading about it today, it was like, nah, he's a corner. And that's what he's going to be. I would say
if he knows like we know, bruh, be a lockdown corner. That's your bread and butter, man. Don't be
just
taking
like
those
his
hits.
mentor. People forget. Sometimes I think people think that Deion played a lot of offense and he played a lot of kick returning, and he didn't. His main bread and butter was lockdown corner and then go play baseball. That's what he did.
Yeah.
And then when he did it, they would put him in. But for the most part, and I'm like, I get it, Trent. I get it. He could play either one if he chooses to focus on it. But
and we saw that with Deion too. And we saw that with Deion. That was towards the end of his career. People, you're right. They think he did that the whole way. That was after he was on his second and third team and all of that. Towards the end of his career, that they were doing that gimmicky stuff. With the height of his career, he was not playing wide receiver. Trust us.
No, he was shutting down Jerry Rice and them. He wasn't playing both ways against Jerry Rice. That wouldn't have been smart.
No, absolutely not.
No, he took that 4.2 and his quickness and his slenderness. I think he was maybe 195, 200 at most. And he was just locking mugs up with that ability. And honestly, he's a smart cat.
Yeah. Have you guys seen him? Have you seen him this summer?
Who, Prime?
Hunter.
No. Not much.
Chiseled out.
Oh yeah, somebody called me and said he gained weight. I didn't know what they meant. Oh, you mean that he filled that
muscle? Yeah, he gained muscle. Because I always thought he was kind of a stick. I was
He
like,
needed
he
it.
just keep gonna get hurt.
He's
But yeah, he's
185
strong.
pounds,
Yeah.
I want to say, last season.
He's solid. He's solid this year. So,
Mhm.
and they said he's
So
killing
that's
it in
good.
camp. So the injury looks good. Let's
So
go
that's
to
good.
Indianapolis, which, man, I tell you, if there was a team that I felt sorry for last year, it was the Indianapolis Colts, because I don't know how many people realize they were on their way to the number 1 seed easily in the AFC before Daniel Jones's injury.
You think it was
I mean,
easily?
yes,
Yeah,
I think
they
they
were
were. They weren't they 8
they
and
were
1,
8-2. 8-2.
8 and 2.
When he
Right.
Yeah,
went
they were like
down,
2-3 games up.
8-2, and then they just fizzled.
Because don't forget, Jacksonville was 13 and 4, and Indianapolis almost beats them that second time. That puts another game separation. They probably win that division by 2
that's
games
true.
at least. And
Mhm.
I believe they may have played Denver as well after his injury, but don't quote me on that. But they were rolling, man. Like, that's who was on my mind when I thought playoffs. Like, man, like, I wasn't afraid to go to Indianapolis. Like, the stadium itself not intimidating, but can we match up against this team? Because I'm thinking Jonathan Taylor. Like, we can't stop the run, and they got Jonathan Taylor. That's going to be problematic. So they were definitely a concern to me, the way they were moving that first, really almost 2/3 of the season. But unfortunately, we all know about the injury. Daniel Jones. I think I said Andrew Jones, not baseball, football. Daniel Jones. I haven't heard much about him in camp in terms of what he's doing, how he looks. Haven't heard
They,
anything about him.
I
yeah,
haven't either.
they keep saying he keeps saying he's just fine. I mean, was it I'm trying to think what that was. Was that his Achilles that he blew
It
out?
was an Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually Achilles, and I know well, and you know, with that text that you gave me today, G, you know, when we had a different type of discussion, I always wonder just how back is he? You know,
Right.
when you do something in the middle of the season, and you talked about how long it takes to have tendons heal and all, you know, you wonder about it, but he is not admitting to anything being wrong, and then. For some reason, Indianapolis rewards him with a 2-year, $88 million contract, which is their business. But I'm just not so sure. I mean, you
Hell of a
got to take
gamble.
it. Yeah, quite a
No deal.
gamble. You know, quite a gamble. But it's really going to be about with them up front. You know, they have just about all their linemen back. Question is this is going to be Jonathan Taylor's big year too. I mean, does Jonathan Taylor does he get extended? You know, or is he
They
as
took
cheap
care of
as
him.
he's going to be?
Yeah,
He
I'm
Okay.
gonna
was
say they
second,
locked him
remember?
up.
Oh, that's
He was
right.
he was the second
Right.
back that got taken care of.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. But
they
just
locked
something,
him up
I just
early.
wonder if that means they're going to use him differently, or are you still going to make him the bell cow? You paid him like it, but then, you know, if you don't have those other people, because now you have, what's his name that's out, the receiver. I know Alec Pierce has not been practicing, you know,
I
so
tell you what,
here we
losing
go
Michael
again with him.
Pittman Jr., losing
Yeah,
Pittman Jr. was huge in my opinion. That might
it
kill them.
was. Yeah.
That is
And,
the
and,
reason why.
and
Well, not only that, but that as well as they really didn't make a whole lot of big splashes in terms of getting people. I just
No.
don't think that they got. I don't think they improved their team enough, even with Daniel Jones back, to play
yeah, I
better than
agree.
Houston or Jacksonville.
They only got better on defense. They got better on
Mhm.
defense, probably. It's relying on a lot of rookies, though. That's why I say
That's what I said,
probably.
probably rookies. That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why I said I don't know.
and is Sauce Gardner going to be okay? I mean, right now he's still
Thank you.
going
Thank you.
going through his struggles. You know, I mean, Sauce Gardner we know is that dude at corner. There is
Yeah,
that dude, but can he
yeah.
stay in the game? You know, is he going to be able to keep him through the season? Because everybody else, Javarius Ward, I know they're all solid players. In the nickel corner, Justin Wally, all okay. But oh yeah, and then Akeem Davis Gaither, I think, is going to be important for them too. But I'm with you, G. I'm not sure where the improvement is, and they could have used it. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, especially when you lose Pittman, you got to have somebody else that's going to stretch the field. You mean
Here's the thing:
who else
Daniel
is going
Jones
to
is
stretch the
actually, I
field?
like him as a quarterback. I thought he was doing really well. I mean, just like we talked about Jacksonville losing Etienne, and I'm like, that's just not one of those running backs or those players that plug and play. Well, Pittman's the
Right.
same
Mm-hmm.
way. That's not just plug and play that you lost.
Yep.
No, and he may have asked to be out. I wondered if he asked. Let's get another opportunity, because as a running back, you don't get that many opportunities for a second contract. I think that's the thing you face as a running back, and then
True that.
you're not going to go too much uphill with the contract. So he probably faced that as well. But then Josh Downs as a wideout will be another question about how consistent he plays as well. They're solid. I would call them solid. They have their schedule, and they're a solid team.
It was
I
just
think they can
shocking
get
to me
10.
that they let Pittman go. It was just shocking
Yeah,
to me.
I didn't understand it.
And I
I
think that
think
they're
they
going
can
to
get
pay for
10
that.
games, though. Did y'all look at their schedule?
Yeah,
I didn't look super closely at it, but yeah, I would love to see the over under on that. Maybe 9. You might be right, G. Yeah. They played a NFC East, and that could be a little problematic. Other than that, their schedule isn't crazy. They do play the AFC North, which can be had. All of those
Right.
teams could be had. So it's not terrible, but a lot's going to rest on where Daniel Jones is and how fast the young guys they picked up on defense can
Yeah.
mature and contribute, because they have some guys that can play and they're showing out. But, this will be their first year of action, and the pace is going to be different. You can't mimic it in preseason and in camp. It's going to take a while before they get the rhythm. So I wouldn't be surprised if they fall off this year, but unfortunately for them, 10 wins in that division might not even get them into the playoffs. Tough as that top of
yeah.
that division is.
You're not wrong.
So, all right, let's move into Tennessee. And I almost feel like we could have the Jets conversation here, but I don't have the same angst for Tennessee as I do the Jets, however. So it'll be much more gentle. I love the coach. I love Robert Saleh. I loved him in New York. Thought they gave up too quickly because I don't think it was him, as we see now. I loved him in San Francisco, what he brought to that team as a defensive coordinator. I'm liking what they're doing in Tennessee. I'm a Cam Ward guy. They got your guy Tate G. I'm loving that. They got your guy Singleton, big dude, the young guys coming in. And they got Anthony Hill Jr. in terms of the youngsters. Remember my buddy Tyron Montgomery, the John Carroll sleeper dude, hanging on by a string, man. He is not impressing in camp. Yeah, he is not impressing.
That was
He is not impressing.
Your sleeper,
so we'll see what happens with him. But I don't know what Tennessee will really look like this year. I love that they have Brian Dable as their offensive coordinator. I like Dable when he was in Buffalo. There was a time where I thought he might have been a good head coach, but after the Giants experience, maybe he's just an OC. Call the plays, bro. I don't know if you could manage a team, but so I love their coaching staff, and I love what they're doing in terms of who they're bringing in. I like their draft. Turn it over to you guys. Do you think Tennessee could take some steps this year? Like, can they play a little bit of spoiler within this division, maybe even?
Well, I think they could near the end. I mean, I just say from the beginning, there's still that thing with continuity. We know how great, Dable is with the quarterback. So I think Cam Ward will play well, but is that going to be enough? Now, you talked about the offensive coordinators, and I think you mentioned also some coaches, and I can't remember who they are, that have demoted themselves so where they don't call the plays, like Denver's coach, is not going to do that anymore. Robert Saleh, the question is going to be, should he give up call on the defense? I mean, because the only thing I would say with Saleh as a coach, and I'm not too sure about, can he get out of his comfort zone and understand that he's not a defensive coordinator? Because he seems to not want to give that up, like somebody's going to take the position of D coordinator, and I think you got to empower somebody else to do it so you can ride roughshod over the whole team. So I think that's what's missing from it. And I think, to answer your question, I think that they can surprise some people. The middle of their schedule is going to be difficult. I mean, they play Jacksonville. They play Jacksonville on November 15th and November 29th. So,
And they got Dallas wedged in between. Wedged in between.
Yeah. So I would say with runs like that, they'll take some steps, but I just think that there's too many bumps in the road, to be in these certain games. Can they surprise someone? I think when you start to take a look at their season maybe being out of reach, and then they got Detroit later, and then they even have the Steelers, and then Houston again, So I just maybe a small step toward where they need to get to. I mean, forget about what even the odds say. I think it'll be some exciting football. I just don't see where it's going to be winning football just yet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have beside them is that I had two words, which was patience, and they'll show some and sparks, basically meaning that I think that they're going to show some sparks on both sides of the ball. But I think those fans, the owners, and the players, they need to be a little patient with themselves because I think they have some pieces. They just don't have majority of the pieces. Now, I have a note here about Cam Ward because I do like Cam Ward. I do. His efficiency was like horrible last season. So what I'm hoping is, like you all saying, with bringing in some true offensive guru, hopefully they're really working closer with that quarterback room, those receivers, and hopefully he's seeing something different because from a physical ability perspective, he has all the physical gifts to do it. Now I think it's just up here and having a really good teacher with him.
Yeah, Dable will be great for him. Dable helped Josh make his jump. Like when we saw Josh become a legitimate quarterback, that was under Dable. And I think that's going to be the best thing that happened to Cam. Certainly getting some help on the outside too, and hopefully at running back. So I'm looking forward to some good things out of Tennessee. I just want them to be competitive this year. And like you said, Cam improve on his efficiency. And I think that they're going to be okay down the road, but going to be a hell of a division. I mean, those teams in that division are all young.
Right.
It's not like you're waiting for Houston and Jacksonville to fall off while you build. So it's going to be fun. It'll be fun, man. It'll be some good fun.
That's the scary thing as I was preparing and looking at the AFC South. They're going to be a scary division. Not
they
this
really
year
are.
as a division, but next year, maybe 2 years. Oh my God. Nobody's going to play any of them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So that will do it for the AFC South. Let's hop into the West, our last division in the AFC. And we're going to start with the Denver Broncos, who, unfortunately for them, a little bit of bad luck, golden opportunity slipped through their fingers in some respect, because I still would have picked Seattle to beat them in probably a pretty similar manner to the way they beat New England. Because I'm not a Bo Nix believer. And I think that he would have had a more nightmarish game against Seattle than even Drake May had. But again, that's just my speculation.
That's not your bias talking.
Not at all. I have no problem with Denver at all. I don't have a problem with them.
I'm not a huge Bo Nix fan, only because he had so much sunshine blown up his butt when he was coming out of Oregon. I'm just like, man, he is not walking on water. And so my hate was unfounded, honestly. It was just more irritated at the media. But the reality is he had them there until the injury. They were there. And I thought that they were going to go. Now, did I think they were going to win a Super Bowl? No, I didn't know that. But I thought that they could get there.
My problem with Denver last year, and I forget the number. I hate that I didn't write it down. but I think this number might be right. They trailed in 11 games last year, and Big Dude, you might know because I know that the Eagles played them. I think they trailed in 11 games last year. That is
Yeah.
unheard of. And because of how much they played with fire last year, if you had asked me this in the spring, I'd have been like, yeah, Denver's my front runner. I don't know. Now I'm thinking they might fall off a little bit. I don't
So you
trust
think there's a
Bo
little luck?
Nix. I despise Sean Payton. I'm just not a fan of Sean Payton. He just rubs me the wrong way. I think he's another one that kind of gets a pass on a lot of his behavior. He can't question his coaching, and I think he has helped make Bo Nix better, but we haven't seen. I want to see Bo Nix against one of them defenses when it's on the line. Because I'll tell you this, my boys did a decent job against. I mean, we should have won the game. Our defense played well enough to win the game up until disaster. I mean, I feel like we just lost it mentally. It just got away from us mentally, and then the defense was doing dumb stuff at the end. But the defense played well enough to win that game. And again, we weren't a great defense. That's why when I look at Bo Nix going up against some of the better defenses in the conference, I mean, it's a great excuse they have. Oh, he got hurt and we would have. Yeah, you would have probably gotten to the Super Bowl. But like I said, you would have got waxed just like the Pats did. The NFC is the best conference. And it's going to be again. It's going to be again this year. I hate to say it, but that's the truth on it.
Waddle. I always get his name wrong.
Waddle.
I'm sorry.
No, you probably do it on purpose because he's Bama. You know it's Waddle.
Okay, I quit being a hater. I quit it. But that's actually going to be fun football right there. You have to admit.
I hope for the sake of the NFL that they are as good because that's going to make the product better. I don't want them to fall off a cliff, especially in that division. I want them to be legitimate. But I'm not going to ever root for Bo Nix. I'm never rooting for Sean Payton. But I do want to bring up, before Big Dude takes the floor, I always got, I love giving y'all props. Jonah Coleman, your running back sleeper dude out of Washington, doing work. So him with your other boy, J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State, that might be a nice little backfield. Now, that's something that could help Bo Nix. Because they didn't have a very formidable running game last year, and Dobbins was hurt, pretty much has defined his career. But they didn't have that formidable of a running game, and I think that's how they got behind a lot. And then, were forced to pass a lot, and they just, defense was good enough to get them back in them games more times than not. But I did want to bring him up. And they have this DB, this guy, Sean Fresh Jr. from Rice. He was an undrafted free agent who is doing a really, really nice job. When's the last time you heard about a player from Rice, if ever?
Just now.
Yes. Yeah.
So they had a nice draft. Some of their rookies are doing some good stuff in camp. Not a bunch of big names. I don't like the fact that they lost John Franklin Myers, though, the defensive end. That's a big loss.
Yeah, that's a big
loss. So, I mean, I don't really have much else for Denver. I think they'll be competitive. Sean Payton's teams are always going to come to play. It'll be interesting if they could play at that next level. And again, winning all of those games that they trailed in, that's just not something that happens like that repeatedly in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right. They can't do that. They can't do that season in and season out. The NFL is not built like that to let you be consistently coming from behind like that. No, that's a little bit of luck.
Absolutely. Any additional thoughts on Denver, Big Dude?
Well, first, to answer your question on at some point about the Broncos, they were behind in 15 games at some point last year.
Was it 15? Holy cow.
It's 15.
I thought, wait, what?
Yeah. It was 15.
And they won 14 games. That's crazy.
Right, but I don't think they want to press their luck again. I mean, like, for example, and I think Dobbins had a solid year, but the question is, how much can you get out of somebody like R.J. Harvey? I mean, he seemed to be ready to go when he came in there, but I don't know how they're going to use him, and I'm not sure. Like you said with Bo Nix, some of those games and people have caught up how that's going to work. For their offense, their offensive line it works out good for them. They're not really a big brutal offensive line that beats up people. They're very much a finesse, and I think their scheme works to their offensive line's advantage. Sometimes when you got finesse offensive line across the front, that's how you got to run it. A lot of sweeps and a lot of stretch plays and all those other types of things, and inside zone. So they're going to be okay. Their defense is solid. I mean, you still got Alex Singleton, number 56, who's still doing his thing in there, and I think he's the leader. Singleton is who's going to keep them together on defense. And of course, you got Patrick Surtain, who is that dude also. To go do what they have to do.
Roll Tide.
Yeah. Got to give it to him. But they really have to stay healthy this year. I think trying to figure out how the running game's going to go this year. That's the thing that they had to pass. They probably need to put them in better positions where 15 games is a lot of games, but it'll be important now that you have Waddle. What does that do, or what is that going to do with the touches for somebody like a Courtland Sutton? Will Courtland Sutton and Waddle will they mesh together?
Sutton just disappears in games sometimes, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I have him in fantasy here and there, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a great matchup this week, and he gets like 2 passes.
Yeah.
You're the number one receiver.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm not sure. And when it gets colder, he doesn't seem to do even much better either. I think he's another one with that first half of the season, second half of the season, and of course, being in the division that Denver is in, their schedule's not as easy. Of course, they got Seattle this year, and then they have Buffalo, New England, and they got LA near the end, and nobody knows how much they'll need those games, whether they make the playoffs or not. Definitely we start talking about seeding those, and it depended upon who the Jets are. Everybody thinks that, they got the Jets in Miami. You start counting up wins, and then they got Carolina, but it's hard to tell if, like I said, if they can't run the ball. But I think that having Waddle is going to have them approach people differently. And I think the defense is going to have to really continue to play their game so they don't have to score a lot of points. Again, Denver, not the type of a team that scores a lot of points on people.
Yeah, they're not making the playoffs.
Sounds like a bias there, G.
Schedule's too tough. I got no bias. You guys are going off this playoff game. I don't got no bias against Denver. They're not a rival or anybody like that. I just don't think they're that. Okay. I don't think they're legit.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out with the schedule.
I think they're overrated. I think for sure they're overrated. They have players in the right places. I just don't know what it is. I guess I have to give the coach respect for taking himself off of calling the plays. To me, that's a good thing to do.
Especially him. That's shocking that he took himself off.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing. If you're down 15, but then you're coming back winning, there's a mental toughness there that you don't ignore. But at the same time, if you're constantly doing that, there's enough mental lapse to get you there. So they're going to have to
All I'll say
that out.
is watch the Giants game. Watch the Giants game, the mastery of giving a team a game.
So they're going to have to figure that out. You kind of changed my mind on that, Guru. They're going to have to show that they can just go up and maintain and win, not keep coming back. You just can't do that on a regular
If they get
basis.
through that schedule,
I actually have to change my tune on them.
If they get through that schedule, that big dude just ran down, God bless him, much respect to him. But that is a gauntlet. And their division's going to be a gauntlet.
No slow clap, though, right?
Over my head. I don't know what that means, but
Las
okay.
Yeah,
Vegas.
okay.
You
See,
said
over my head, but
you said the division is a gauntlet, and I said all but one team, Las Vegas.
yeah, all but one team. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right, let's jump to the Chargers. Justin Herbert, the guy who gets the most praise probably of all the quarterbacks who hasn't done anything. And I love
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, but he hasn't done anything.
Nothing.
They got richer in the offseason, so
They definitely got richer. And you guys remember I talked about Josh McDaniels and the difference he makes up in Foxborough? I think Mike McDaniel's going to make the difference for Justin Herbert this year. And
For real?
Mike McDaniel is having a ball already. Mike McDaniel is like a kid with his first Christmas where he really knows what's going on. He can't believe the throws that Herbert's making in camp. He's like, what? I can call plays for this? Because think about it. He went from noodle arm Tua to Justin Herbert. And yeah, roll tide, roll tide. I keep it fair with he's the Tide, but I keep it fair.
Yeah.
He's an upgrade quarterback for him.
You know they have all those tools, and you come in. They just drop a Benz and right in your lap. So I mean, look, man, I can't wait to see them. I'm actually going to try to get to some home games here.
Oh, that'll be cool. And let me tell you, our guy Akeem Messidor, truth so
and
far.
Thompson,
And
the wide receiver.
Yep. And Jake Slaughter. Jake Slaughter going to be a center for 15 years in the league, already balling.
Hey,
They got a new tight end is playing well. The new running back is doing well. I'm like,
G, you called Jake Slaughter, man.
They got better. They definitely got better.
Yeah, Jake Slaughter was G's call for sure. I remember that.
And you know they added Njoku, right, from Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
They have the tight end Njoku from Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think that's his name.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep.
That's a huge pickup. That's a huge pickup.
Dude. He's going to be. I really
like the Chargers.
That arm is going to be.
I really like the Chargers this year.
I don't think he's going to be on the ground often. The running back is going to be that running game. They're going to take some pressure off of him. Their defense is going to be well rested at games.
People don't talk about the Chargers' defense enough, and their defense was really, really good last year. The problem last year really was ultimately they couldn't protect Herbert. And I tell you what, we got to give him soldier points last year. You guys remember he played with that hand? Yeah. Like he had that surgery and then played that Monday night, right? I believe it was. And he played like that for weeks. And every time he would get hit on it, I would cringe on my couch, man. I'm like, bruh. But he soldiered through. So he got another level of respect for me. And I'm ready for him to do something. I loved him at Oregon. I wish him success. And I want to see him do something. I want to see him play on a bigger stage in the playoffs.
Agreed.
So we'll see what happens there.
Games, dog.
Yep. I mean, I think this is the team for him. Now, you know what we don't like on that team, and then we can move on is Harbaugh. I don't wish them anything as long as he's the coach. Not a fan at all. But he's got something there. He'll have him on the edge like he always does, and then he'll end up coaching at Michigan State or something like that in about 3 years.
Yeah,
he'll be back in the college game.
He'll end up throwing a wrench in this after they'll do well, and then all kinds of crap are gonna come out. Then it's totally tank the whole team.
Yep, absolutely. He'll Harbaugh.
He will Harbaugh. That should become the verb for making a team well and then blowing it up.
There you go. That's our new one, a Harbaugh. Let's move into the Kansas City Chiefs, which, man, this is going to be a year. And I keep going back and forth with what I think they're going to be. Say that again?
They're going to win the division.
See, I'm starting to lean towards that because I had them dead to rights again this year.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the moves they made in the offseason, and I'm thinking, sheesh, are they going to be back that quick like that? Like, I guess it was just injuries and just a little bit of bad luck last year, I guess, got them, huh? Because they're trending up for sure in my world, but of course, I want them to stay down. And yeah, now I am being biased with these jokers. I don't ever want to see them do anything, thorn in the side. But
Right.
even though I feel like if my boys ever are gonna win it, it's gotta go through them. It's like when y'all
Yeah.
won back in the '80s. When y'all win in the '80s, big dude, it had to be Dallas in the NFC chip. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It couldn't
Yep.
be anybody else. So I need Kansas City to be there. I do need them to be there. We got to
I
exercise
don't think
that.
they're going to be there. I was being facetious. I think they're on
I
a
don't think they'll
rebuild.
be that far, but I think they got a damn good chance to win this division. Mahomes is ahead of schedule. Kelsey looks slower than a snail to me. I think he's going to be a non-factor, but again, not a fan. Definitely some bias there. Love the Kenneth Walker transaction in their draft. Mansour Delane is killing it. Peter Woods is killing it. Emmett Johnson, another one of those running backs, killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
they're
call
doing
him.
their thing, man. Their entire rookie class is doing it. They might have found themselves some wide receivers. I mean, they basically reloaded even after losing some big names in free agency. So you're probably right, G.
year.
As much as it pains me to say it, they are if I think about what I said earlier, I got Denver falling off. Harbaugh's probably going to sabotage the Chargers somehow. And then that leaves you with the Raiders. So, yeah, Kansas City probably wins the division again.
But I say by a nose. See, if the Raiders if Kansas City does win it, I think it would be by a hair. It would be by some circumstances.
Oh, it'll be competitive. Oh, yeah. This is going to be good TV.
I mean, without getting into what their record and all would be, because we're going to do that in another forum, I just think that having also back Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator, I think is really big. He's familiar with what's going on. Andy Reid's going to let him be who he wants to be. That's the one thing you could see with him on all those sidelines. And when I saw him in person, he just somebody has to let him be who he's going to be, or it's just not going to work.
Think about how scary this is. Emmett Johnson and Kenneth Walker with Eric Bieniemy as their running backs coach.
That's crazy.
Are they going to be great? Are they going to be much improved? Yes. I still don't think that they're going to win the division, though. Maybe next year, because they got. I think that. I don't think that, particularly the rookies. Well, there are some rookies who can acclimate pretty quickly. So let me back up. If they're acclimate pretty quickly, then it's a different discussion, I think.
Well, but I think Guru brought it up with Mansour Delane, and then of course now you're going to do more. I think as the season evolves, I think you're going to start seeing a little bit more like Peter Wood. Peter Wood makes his way into the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jones won't have to do quite as much, and that's the point that we're at. Chris Jones, of course, long time. But he needs it. You're talking about people getting well rested. I think Chris Jones will be well rested with the better that Peter Woods plays. And then other than that, I mean, and there's the lanes that everybody's wanted, and their O line is solid. They're going to be solid. And
what do you think Mahomes is going to do? You think he's going to be in his head, or is he going to just come out and play?
He'd be ready.
Well, he's another one, though, that got over, tearing his ACL, or MCL. I think it was MCL. That you wonder, he's not saying much. He keeps saying he's fine. That's the thing. But then
that's my biggest question mark is whether or not he's going to play in his head or just going to go out and play.
Yeah, he's not going to worry about it.
He's got to make it through the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They start off with Denver, Indianapolis, and then they got Miami and Vegas. If he can get through the first two games, they need to win those first two games. They need to be 4-0, and they have an early bye. They have a week 5 bye, which is terrible.
Yeah, I see that.
If they can go 4-0, they're in business.
But
That'll
If
give
he misses
him
those
5
first two
weeks.
games and he don't re-injure or aggravate, then he has those 2 games where they should win pretty comfortably, and the bye is actually not bad for him
It,
in an injury.
it's great for him. It's great for him. And then even then
yeah,
coming out of that, you got a gauntlet, boy. Chargers,
yeah, you got the
Seattle, Denver.
yeah. Yeah, let me tell you something. The Jets, I don't know if
Oh
they're going to win.
God!
The Jets look like they'll beat you up too. Now, I don't know if the Jets are going to win. They're going to be one. They're going to be kind of like Houston, where they may not have the offense they need, but they'll beat you up.
Well, interesting game, big dude, because if you're coming off Chargers, Seattle, Denver, those are going to be 3 physical weeks. It's going to
Yeah.
be easy to get caught by a team like the Jets.
Yeah, and the Jets, I think, will add a fourth in terms of physicality.
Yeah, their schedule is not
Jets and
easy by any
physicality,
means.
huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Their schedule is crazy. They have maybe 3 or 4 games that we might consider easy. So, yeah, Kansas City's got some work to do. The one thing that I say can bring them back to the top of that division immediately is the coaching. When I think about
Yeah.
Delane and Woods, especially on the defensive side, Spags got those boys ready. They said Mansour Delane ready to go now. Like, he's ready to play. He's ready to go out on the outside. He's ready. But we knew that. We loved him.
Right.
That was a consensus. We loved him to death.
Yeah.
So we knew. Peter Woods, we weren't sure on. So I'm glad that that's panning out for them. But, yeah, come on, Kansas City. I need you to be good. I do need you to be good, though.
Good. Just for the love of the game, it would be great if they were kind of back at that high level. For the love,
Yeah,
I just don't think this is that year.
As much as it pains to say it, you're right. Bah humbug. All right, let's wrap up the AFC West with the Las Vegas Raiders. Definitely some house money this year. Their rookies, a nice rookie class. Mike Washington Jr., another one of your backs, G, had a great opener the other night. Looked really good, looked NFL ready. I don't know if you guys remember Malik Benson, the wide receiver. I forgot about him because he transferred so many times. Dude played in the ACC, SEC, and the Big Ten.
He played. Wait a minute, hold up. He played almost all 4 P4s.
Florida State, Bama, and Oregon.
That's crazy.
Crazy. And I only remember him from Florida State and I guess a little bit at Oregon. I do not remember him at Bama at all. I don't remember him at all. But
the
Raiders were 3-14 last year. Got a pretty tough schedule again this year. And this is just a growth, right? We want to see growth. They're rebuilding. We want to see some development. I would start Cousins, even though traditionally I'm the type of person that's like, put the rookie out there, especially if you drafted him number 1. But I'd let Cousins play because we know that ain't going to last that long. Let Cousins start it off. Let him take like 5 L's in a row. That'll take a little bit of pressure off the rook coming in. They won't expect to win, and he could just play. He looked good the other night. He looked just like he did at Indiana. I know it was a preseason game, but I liked his presence. I liked how he got rid of the ball. He scrambled a little bit. He looked good for his first game. He looked good.
But bro, this is why I don't want him to start. He's gonna get killed.
He's gonna get killed. He's definitely gonna get killed.
And I'm just like, don't destroy that man's career before it gets started. Let Kirk Cousins go. Let him play.
In the row you got Kansas City, New England, Buffalo, and the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, he gonna learn. He gonna learn.
He's gonna get a taste.
Kirk Cousins play.
Yeah.
He's going to get a taste of some Castoro, that's for sure.
I tell you what, honestly, if Kirk Cousins could get through the year, if I'm a Raiders fan or anybody associated with the Raiders, that would be like an early Christmas present. And even if Mendoza gets in at the end of some games here and there, but to be able to just watch for a year and practice and learn that physical toll, not having to deal with that, that'd be super helpful. Let Cousins take the brunt of it. He a vet. Go
Right.
out there and take the
What
beating.
the draft? I don't know what drafts they have for 27 or not, but I'm thinking that okay, let Kirk Cousins play so we can go out and get some great tackles and guards in the offseason in 2027. But for now,
Yeah.
let Kirk Cousins do his thing. And like you said, I
You
like
can
what you
become a
said.
destination. You can become a destination. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because you can kill it free agency, but you know what immediately came to my mind when you said draft, G?
What's that?
Jeremiah Smith.
Coming out.
Jeremiah Smith. Could you
Mm.
imagine if the
Mendoza
Raiders
Smith,
could
bruh. Come
get
on.
could you imagine if they could get him to go with Mendoza? My goodness. Mm.
I'm thinking 27 and
That would have been
28
beautiful.
from Las Vegas.
That would
Yeah,
have
and
been beautiful. Well,
I thought we had when we talked about the draft stuff, I thought that Vegas was one of those teams that through some previous transactions had some picks coming in next year's draft. I could be wrong. There were so many of those. I know Arizona and the Jets especially, but I felt like Las Vegas might have also had some additional picks. I mean, we know they're going to be a top 5 just based on how they finish. But if they can get 3 picks in the first 2 rounds, even if you say an early 3rd rounder and do some good stuff in free agency, you can go from the outhouse to the penthouse pretty fast. Again, one of those tough divisions. I mean, Denver's going to be around, Chargers, young teams. Kansas City's going to be the oldest team in the division, but they got young. And Mahomes is going to be around for a little bit. Kansas City, a lot will be the coaches. How much is Big Red gonna? Much longer is Big Red gonna stay around? So those are kind of the things that Vegas would have ahead of them. But future's bright. Future's bright for sure. Oh, I'm glad
They
that
have a
I
top 10
remembered.
pick, so they do have a high
They do
first
have
round.
one, right? And then they're going to have this finish, so they'll probably have the number 1 through 3 and 10 pick,
Whoa.
which you might even be able to turn into something. But Jamad McCoy, fellas, remember Jamad McCoy? They said that he might not be able to play. They passed over him. Killing it so far. They said he's handling all the durability stuff. He's balling out, because they were worried about the physicality, whether he was ready. Handling all of it's gone through the roughest stretch of camp, no problem.
Nice. Good for
And I
that
think
young
someone said that, yeah, he might have to have another surgery, but it would be more like a cleanup of something. So if that's the case, good for the Raiders, man, because remember, we were cringing when people, every time he got passed over, we were like, you got to be kidding me.
Y'all are just.
So he might have ended up in the best place for him. So
Well,
good
the
for
good
him.
thing is
So
they probably don't expect to play. They don't expect to be a 10-win team or anything, so they'll probably bring him along slowly.
Yeah.
No.
And same thing. I wouldn't play him a lot.
House
There's
money.
still like 1,800 odds or something like that for to win the division. But the Raiders.
I don't even know why there are odds on that.
I know, but then you got Max Crosby back, which after all that other craziness that went on, they got Crosby and you got Nakobe Dean over from the Eagles. So defense has improved.
Well, you heard what they're talking about with Crosby is that don't be surprised if that's an early season trade.
Oh,
really?
And actually might not be a bad move for some draft. If you can get the right draft capital. Now I heard Dallas, but I mean, what's Dallas going to give him?
Because if I'm Las Vegas, I'm really trying to. Of course, if I can get some higher picks, fine. But I'm also trying to lighten my balance sheet so that I can have more cap space to actually start, bring in some high quality vets.
And he's probably eating up the most because who else do we know on the Raiders?
Right.
There's nobody else that we know getting big money on the Raiders. Probably Cousins always gets big money for whatever reason, but get rid of him. Hopefully they signed him to something that doesn't beat them. So you get rid of that money. You're right. I'm be very interested to see what the Raiders do. My dad's always been a Raiders fan. It's been a while since they've been good. We'll see if they can get back up on top for him. But Any other words about the AFC West, fellas?
No, I don't think I need
It'll be a
to check out the
close
Chargers
race
team.
up top. I think, yeah, the Broncos are not a shoe-in, but I can see them in Kansas City battling it out. But it'll be the games that I think you mentioned before. Lose it, they lose to those teams they're supposed to beat. That's usually what makes the Broncos the team they are. They win the games they're supposed to win. So, but if they don't this year, I think Kansas City's got a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that stuff always comes back on you when you have that type of luck. There's no way 2 years in a row that some of that's going to come back on you. So they're probably going to lose some games that they should win. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Next episode, we are getting into the NFC East. And I'm just going to move aside and let Big Dude have at it. I got something that I know is going to blow Big Dude's mind, so I can't wait till we get into that with his division. But until next time, see ya later.